All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Monday, June 16th, right here on your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns, presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson, and this is All In Horns. Want to thank everybody and for sticking with us all this time. But we have an announcement of Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there and all the dads who stepped up. You know, those are the real heroes of the world. Not to say that I did something similar to that, but no. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Jake, I don't know. I mean, it's not always like the happiest of days for you, but it's also a day of remembrance as well. But happy Father's Day to you. How did you spend your Father's Day weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we got back into town from Minnesota this weekend. We spent basically a week there. Trip was awesome. Mall of America was fun. Talked about the Viking Stadium. Went to a Twins Rangers game. And
In
so,
Minnesota, which is
yeah,
super
in,
cool.
in Minnesota, very cool baseball stadium. Had a lot of fun with that. And then yesterday, kind of got back, just chilled. And then today, I pretty much always my dad always used to cook on his Big Green Egg, and I got a Big Green Egg when we closed on our house, and so I just kind of always cook on it and kind of do that as my little remembrance on
Right.
Sundays for me. I'm not a father yet. We'll be in the future, but not one yet. And so yeah, it's Father's Day isn't the
You're like
best day.
you're like the last of our friend group.
I
That
know.
that is you're a little behind the eight ball now, Jake.
Which is funny because I've been married for a few years now, but my wife's a few years younger than me, and we're just kind of waiting, enjoying just the two of us for
Hey,
now.
nothing wrong with that.
It
Yeah.
well, it helps whenever you have a brother and sister to have 3 kids each.
Yeah.
That was a great birth control, but
Yeah. Well, and then you come over to my place and come visit, and you're like, "Oh, there's 3 girls here too." Yeah, no, we're good. We can wait a little bit longer.
anytime I go to your place, it's like I could wait another year.
It's pure chaos
I
all the
love them; they're awesome, but I get to go home after.
Yeah, no, it's pure chaos all the time. But no, I had a good weekend with the girls. Kay was actually out of town. And so for those who don't know, I've got 3 girls. One biologically, two others are my girlfriends, but um she was actually out of town Friday. She went to a work conference. So I had all 3 girls all weekend long. Went to Summer Fun, which is a water park for those who don't know. On Friday night, then Saturday, we've got like a big, like inflatable, like water slide thing. It's like a bounce house slash, water slide. Set that up for them, set up the pool and stuff. And we did that today. And then I just got inside from mowing and doing some yard work. So the typical. I watched the U.S. Open, watched golf all day long. Sat outside with the girls while they played in the pool, and then drank plenty of beer and did some yard work. So kind of like your prototypical dad day on Father's Day for sure. But no, a good weekend nonetheless. Got together, had dinner with my dad yesterday. And so, yeah, it was a nice little weekend for sure. Jake, I'm glad your trip went well. We haven't really talked at all since you've been on vacation. It was kind of, you and your wife's time. I was trying to respect it as much as I could, except during the hockey game and stuff. I was, texting.
Oh yeah, I mean, at least I've looked at when I'm on vacation. I'm pretty good about my phone. I don't look at it.
Yeah.
And I try to be good about that. But we also spend a lot of evenings just chilling in the hotel room, hooking up the laptop to the TV and watching movies and
Sure.
shows. But yeah, it's a good trip. It's nice when you can get out, and especially for us getting out and just being the two of us, not seeing family. And
Yeah.
I love seeing family, but it's nice just being somewhere
Dude,
else, just the two.
so when Kay and I, when we went on our vacation, we've had a vacation just us and no mom and dads, no grandparents, no brothers, no sisters, no kids, just the two of you. There's not a better vacation on the planet than not having to abide by anyone else's schedule, how anybody else's feels. You have to argue about dinner or lunch or what you're going to do next. it's just you two making all the decisions, and y'all just go do whatever you want to do. There's not a better vacation than that. I mean,
Oh yeah, just if you want to sleep in till noon, you sleep in till noon. You want to stay up till 4, you stay up till 4.
no itinerary, just go day by day, figure it out. And then obviously, like you looked up, like, hey, when do the Minnesota Twins play? Do they play? Oh, they happen to play the Rangers. That's kind of cool. Like sure, like there are things like that that you can kind of plan for. But no, those are the best. And you and I, we had a discussion, Jake. I know this intro is getting a little long in terms of just our personal things, but I have a feeling our summer episodes are going to be very much like this, just to spend some time. But
Oh,
I don't know if this is just a me thing, but there's not a better channel surfing situation to be in than whenever you're in a hotel room and just channel surfing old school way, no guide, just channel per channel, and you catch a show or a movie that you haven't seen or haven't thought of in forever, but it's an all-time classic and it's on like USA Network or whatever, and you just sit there and watch the whole thing.
yeah, it was TV land for us. So we were, unfortunately, it was in our hotel. We stayed in Des Moines, Iowa. It's not a very long drive to Minneapolis from here, but I was like, hey, let's leave on a Saturday. We started our vacation Minnesota Sunday. Let's leave on a Saturday and just drive 3 hours, stay in Des Moines, mess around there, have fun, and then go to Minneapolis on Sunday and kind of spend our week there. In Des Moines,
Are you saying Minneapolis?
I shut up.
Minneapolis?
I'm not going down. I probably said it wrong.
Minneapolis.
Okay. Yeah, I said I hand up. I probably said it wrong. We don't gotta continue on this. And now I'm going to be subconscious of this the rest of the episode.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, our hotel in Des Moines had all the channels. Unfortunately, the one in Minnesota, because that's what I'm going to stick to now, did not have as many channels, so didn't have as good of a channel surfing. But when the hotel has good channels, man, in Des Moines, we were flipping through and we just came up as like Everybody Loves Raymond on TV Land. And I was like, I forgot how funny this show was. We saw the suitcase episode, which is a real famous one where there's a suitcase and they both don't want to put it away, and it becomes this like unspoken fight. Then he puts like a block of cheese in there when he leaves town to make it smell up the place.
Yeah.
It was so, and then Seinfeld came on after, and my wife hadn't really seen any of Seinfeld in her adult life. So she just thought it was bad because when you watch it when you're younger, a lot of the humor doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so we both got addicted to that. And yeah, channel surfing when you're in a hotel, especially when you have good channels.
Yeah.
But yeah, TV Land was what we ended up on, and it was elite.
Oh, dude, hotel channel surfing, very few things beat it. I mean, you can just constantly surf and just be like, you'll run into like Shawshank Redemption and just sit there for the next 3 hours, commercials and all, and not change the channel one time. It's fantastic. Anyway, all right, let's jump back onto the train of our U.S. Open preview episode because Jake and I hand up on this one. Every major tournament in golf, we've done a preview episode, highlighted it, gone into it, and kind of given predictions of how we feel about it. We did not stick to that tradition for the U.S. Open. We had to record about a week in advance of the entire week's episodes, and I don't think U.S. Open was even on our radar at that point in time. And so hand up on Jake's part, hand up on my part. But this will be our preview episode post-tournament. But Jake, I'm feeling really good about JJ Spawn.
Yeah. I think JJ Spawn has been on the edge this year, building up. It feels like it's his time to win a try. That's going to be my prediction as well. And he'll probably be the only one to finish under par, if I had to say.
It's going to be a very difficult course. Everyone's talking about the rough. Everyone's talking about the weather delays, rain being an issue, possibly. But I really like the idea of, maybe one guy managing under par, and then runner up maybe being even, something along those lines. Probably McIntyre. Probably an unspoken guy you may not have heard of very often, but I think if you're going to put money on anybody, I would go those two guys. Those are my two top, front runners, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then if I had to pick someone to lead through the, first couple rounds, first few rounds, I'd go with like a Sam Burns, not someone you might expect as well. And then kind of fall apart in that last round.
Yeah.
But
it was
preview
tough
is
to see. Tough to see Sam Burns go +8 on the final day.
And JJ Spawn started with 5 bogeys in the first 6 holes.
Yeah,
And
he went 5 on 5. That's insane.
And then brought it back. I mean, the fortitude to come back from that is pretty. I had written him off after, and some of it was bad luck, hitting the rake, hitting the flag stick, and that was diabolical for that to happen.
His first 2 holes, he actually played very well. And unfortunate bounces, bad rolls, all the things that make the U.S. Open so great. But to overcome those adversities, Jake, one thing that I've always said about these kind of like lesser known, kind of your B tier golfers on the PGA Tour that everybody's going to want, the Xander Schauffele's, the Scotty Schefflers, the Rorys, the DeChambeaus. You're going to want those bigger names on your leaderboard. And of course that makes it more fun but what I like to see is I like to see the guys like JJ Spawn start off well, Sam Burns, and then see if they can live up and they can fight through that pressure whenever you start seeing a Scotty Scheffler rising on the leaderboard on Sunday, like he was. He was sitting in the clubhouse, Jake, as the guy, hey, I've got the top score of the day. If anybody else falters, I'm sitting here ready to go to a playoff for like a hole, but he was in that seat in the greenhouse or in the clubhouse for at least a hole.
And if he didn't bogey the last, he would have been even better shape, but it would have been the biggest comeback on a Sunday. I think it was in a major history. If not major, it was U.S. Open history for sure.
US Open history.
And it would have been close in major history for sure, because it was an 8-stroke deficit that he had. And he came, he just missed too many putts.
But for JJ Spawn to see that and to feel that pressure, and then already in your first major championship, his story of, hey, I don't know if this golfing thing is really going to go my way, and just kind of being really down and out about his game over the last couple of years. And then he comes back and he fights in the Players Championship with Rory McIlroy on St. Patty's Day on a playoff, and he misses a putt by about yay much to win the whole thing. And then obviously Rory caps it off and wins the thing. But then for him to come back and for him to hit some of the shots, overcome the adversities, overcome the front 9 on Sunday, overcome a rain delay on the back 9 with only about 7 holes left to go. For him to do all that, Jake, with the pressure of it being a major championship, it's at Oakmont of all things. I'm not sure how can you not be romantic about this sport and about this weekend?
And to birdie in the finish. I mean, it's not like he had the lead and he had to take the lead. And then on the 18th hole, you're going, okay, this is going to be a tough 2-putt to win it, but he, getting the look from Hovland, he should hopefully be able to 2-putt and win. To can that putt, the longest putt of the weekend, only the 4th birdie on Sunday on the 18th hole out of the whole entire field. And for to be the longest putt of the entire weekend on any hole, just unbelievable. Him making that putt made that such a more dramatic moment, just because the distance of the putt, the leaving no doubt, not having to have a dramatic putt coming back where you possibly get another choke like Rory did in the Masters that forces a playoff. And then the playoff would have gone to Monday. It wouldn't have felt as right. Him hitting that putt was incredible. And the broadcast did such a good job of showing all the crowd reaction views, all the different viewpoints, and then showing McIntyre, who, what an awesome reaction he had in the clubhouse, just smiled and clapped and was just like,
wow.
Yeah. But didn't, just kind of like put his head down. It just in the exact moment, he just smiled and like clapped and just was absolute class from him. But it was one of those moments where, like you said, the majors this year, especially the Masters and now the U.S. Open, it was fun watching Scotty run away with the Open major, but PGA Championship.
PGA Championship, yeah.
Major, but the day we got in the Masters, the Sunday we got today from the US Open, how can you not love watching this sport and what golf has become because of the Tiger boom is in full effect now. Because a JJ Spawn doesn't happen without a Tiger Woods. I mean, so many of these guys just don't happen without a Tiger Woods. And it's cool to see JJ Spawn win too, just because he's not a no name now. He's made himself a name this year that, not necessarily those, a top 5 guy or anything, but
Yeah.
he's a name everyone knows now because he's been on the leaderboards consistently. And then for him to get over the hump and win, but in a major, just awesome.
One tournament win his entire PGA career, and that was at TPC San Antonio. And then he goes ahead and just wins a U.S. Open at Oakmont, which has been declared the hardest course in the world, kind of resoundingly one of the hardest, if not the hardest course in the entire world. And boy, did it eat these golfers up alive, Jake. My take is I love to see it. I love to see these players just constantly grinding and challenging. We got 2 club tosses by Rory, which biggest bitch baby on the entire tour right now. After he won his Masters, he's like, I don't have to hide me being a bitch baby anymore. I can just be a bitch baby all the time.
He did the exact opposite of what we thought maybe him getting that monkey off his back would lead to him just winning like everything.
Yeah.
And maybe winning another major or 2, constantly being in contention at the least. And instead he's kind of just shipped it in.
Yeah.
He's been horrible.
And then he just cries and doesn't.
So the club toss where it hit the bag and bounced back at him and he caught it. That was sweet. It wasn't intentional, but that was very cool.
It was cool. But we had two iconic club tosses by Rory this weekend. We had a lot of hot mics, a lot of F-bombs into the mic. Love it. But yeah, a lot of I don't think the officials at Oakmont working this event, I don't even think they knew how to rule a lot of things. They were just like, there were so many controversial moments. I mean, you can even go back to Adam Scott's. He declared an unplayable, and I mean, he was stepping in puddles. And after the rain delay, and they're like, "Sorry, that's playable. Like, you got to play it." And I mean, he's in about yay much of water, but I don't think anybody would have, moaned and groaned if they would have said it was unplayable and let him, take a drop. But
the broadcast disagreed with it heavily.
Yeah,
the broadcast disagreed with several of the calls from which I don't know why they weren't filling in the divots. That was like, I don't feel like you see that normally in a major where there was some of the holes, the fairways look like freaking war zones.
I mean, by the time the last, I don't know, 5 groups were coming in, which are the guys leading the tournament going into Sunday, those 17, 18, those last 4 holes, I don't think you found a clean patch of grass on the fairway.
Yeah, I mean, the cleanup job it's going to take from the maintenance crew after this is going to be extensive. I would imagine they're shutting it down from people playing it for like a week because it looks unplayable.
I'd imagine a month or so. I mean, you're Oakmont. You're not going anywhere. Like you're not struggling for money. You can afford to kind of get it back on track and stuff. But man, I'll tell you what, the big winner of the weekend was the course, because there was a lot of hype saying, is the winner going to be over par? And we were very, very close for that happening if JJ Spawn doesn't knock that putt in on the 18th.
Yeah, at best he was going to be even par to win it.
Yeah.
So no one would have been under par at the least, but it makes the win more impressive, him getting that birdie, ending under par when no one else could do that in the entire field. And the starting with 5 bogeys in his first 6 holes and coming back and still finishing under par for the week on Sunday, where no one could score under par. It felt like,
like Sunday was the real rough day. I think everybody I mean, I know the rain didn't help and things like that, but I think Sunday really hurt a lot of. I mean, you look at the scores for just Sunday, Jake. I mean, I'm not seeing anybody. McIntyre finished 2 under. Rahm finished 3 under. Schauffele was 1 under. Everybody else I'm looking at, Rory was 3 under. Everybody else was well over par all day today. Scotty Scheffler finished even. Sam Burns with a 8 over. Adam Scott with a 9 over. Lawrence with 5 over. I mean, geez, these numbers are just absurd numbers for a Sunday.
Someone shot an 82 on Sunday as well. I saw someone was in the 80s. So yeah,
Right up there with
the
Bobby
course
Fairways.
delivered. Day one, I was kind of like, you didn't have many guys under par, but you had like 5 or 6 guys who were like, 2 under to 4 over, or sorry, 4 under, in that 2 under to 4 under range. And you're like, okay, are we going to end up with like a -8, -9 winning? No, that was not indicative of how the course just got harder and harder. The weather was not helpful as well.
And the wear and tear. You got pristine conditions on Thursday. By the time Sunday came around, you couldn't even find a piece of fairway that didn't have a divot in it. And again, that's kind of strange, course maintenance. But I loved it, Jay. I love seeing the pros at least struggle once or twice a year. I don't want it every tournament. I do want the majors to be difficult. I think the majors should be the hardest tournaments to win. The courses should be absolutely brutal and should test these guys to the highest capabilities of their play. Absolutely. Some of these guys, some of the pros complaining about it is they just don't have that dog in them. They don't have that tiger instinct in them, or, they just don't, because it's like, you should want to beat this course and be like, yeah, not only did I beat this course, I won a major and I beat everybody else who also played it. And it was the hardest course in the world at the time whenever we played it. So, I don't think you can get a more impressive victory from a guy like JJ Spawn than you can today. I mean, this is a career altering moment for him.
Yeah. And, someone to look out for consistently now. He already had started to become a guy. It's like, okay, he's probably going to win some tournaments.
He's cracking top 20s consistently.
Went into that, was an inch away from beating Rory on that 18th hole. Ended up, just having to tap it in to go to the playoff. And you're not going to beat the power of the Irish on a on a St. Patrick's Day playoff. But yeah, really. Really cool for JJ Spawn, and it's hard to believe we're already 3 out of 4 majors done for the year.
I know it's a real shame, and we have St. Andrews coming up, right? Is that where the Open is in?
I don't think it's at St. Andrews this year.
Okay.
It was at St. Andrews like 2 years ago or something, because there's a cycle of courses that it goes for the Open, but. Either way, it'll be windy and awful conditions for that as well.
So that's the major, but we also have Ryder Cup. That's another kind of major golf event. That
we're going to have to do a fun little schedule for the Ryder Cup. Depending when it is, if it intersects with football season, it'll be kind of difficult, but we'll have some type of coverage of the Ryder Cup, because I think we both love the Ryder Cup. I think it is,
it's an all-time sport.
Maybe the funnest event in golf, and it's one of the funnest sporting events to watch because the players get into it. They love the crowd being crazy. It's like where golf kind of gets away from golf and goes to more being a traditional team sport, from not only just the way it's played with matches and everything and point systems and teams, but also just with how the crowds interact with the players and all. It gets nasty. It gets chippy.
Well, you'll start seeing the players yelling back at the crowd, and
yelling at each other.
Yeah, this year the United States is hosting, so we don't have to go over to Europe. We're gonna have it in Boston, Massachusetts, maybe one of the best sports town to have on your side. I would say, maybe not to go against. I'm not a Boston sports fan by any means, but for them to have your back and be on your side, it will be a good one. One thing I love about the Ryder Cup is just how the players talk about it every single year, how important it is to these guys that they're like, if you could win any major golf tournament, what's like the best golf moment you've been a part of? And they're like, well, obviously playing in the Masters is pretty cool. Playing in Augusta, playing on the U.S. Olympic team is great, but nothing really compares to the Ryder Cup.
Winning the Ryder Cup.
The fact that they bring that up consistently is awesome. And it tells you everything you need to know.
The environment, I mean, it brings out the most competitive side of all of them. Because you look at a guy like Scotty, he's pretty reserved on the golf course. He's getting pumped up and trash talking other guys in these in the Ryder Cup and what's the other one with where it's USA against the rest of the world, basically. President's Cup.
Yeah.
And Scotty gets all fiery during that, and it brings a viewpoint to golf that you would never get to see from those players unless you have that event.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for USA to hopefully avenge the loss from a couple years ago. By the way, the 153rd Open Championship, by the way, this year will be July 14th through the 21st at the Royal Portrush Golf Club in Northern Ireland. So that I can't remember what that course looks like off the top of my head. I will dive into it before then, but we have just about a month before we do the final major of
the season. Man, yeah. And then before we know it, the FedEx Cup will be here, and we'll crown a season champion, and golf season will be in the books. Thankfully, golf season typically lasts, at least gets us to football season. We can at least get to football season. So, well, Jake, there's our U.S. Open preview. For anybody who wants to place their bets, now's the time to put money on JJ Spawn. I'm telling you, it's an automatic. I don't think you can go wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the end of the preview episode is you're picking JJ Spawn. I'm picking JJ Spawn. I'm also picking the 72 hole leader to be Sam Burns on top of that.
I like that.
And so, yeah, I think you can get some really good odds on that on DraftKings and FanDuel and all the sports books. So make sure you put those in. I think those are guaranteed to cash.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. All right, Jake. Sorry we didn't have the preview episode, but we got it to you eventually. So that's going to do it for today's episode of All In Horns. Scotty Scheffler was somewhat, a little bit, sort of, kind of in the mix.
Didn't play well, still ended top 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So, tomorrow's episode, we're going to dive into Texas winning the Directors Cup again and kind of break down those numbers. It would be a good time for Jake and I to kind of just do a season in review type episode, kind of going through, all the different finishes to the season, and obviously where all these teams ended up in their regular season, whether that be, conference champions, conference tournament champions, advancing so far into a postseason, whatever that looks like. We'll go through and kind of give you those numbers as to where Texas ranked and scored in all the sports to win the Directors Cup yet again. So, Chris Del Conte, that talk is coming tomorrow. So stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That's Jake Jimerson. I'm Tanner Carlson. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns. Hook 'em.
All In Sports Network. We love sports.